Did you know that Southeast Asia is home to countless old towns and villages that have stood the test of time, some dating back hundreds of years? That's right, tucked between lush rice fields, winding rivers, and jungle-covered hills are communities where history breathes through wooden shutters, stone paths, and the aroma of street food. Hoi An, Vietnam glows each evening with lantern light, its riverside alleys echoing the footsteps of traders from centuries past. In Luang Prabang, Laos, monks in saffron robes walk peacefully through quiet streets as golden temples shimmer in the morning sun. Batad, Philippines, ancient rice terraces carved into the mountains cradle a quiet village where life flows with the land. High in the mountains of northern Thailand, Pai offers a slower rhythm of life. Bamboo huts and smoky sunsets set the mood. Tucked deep in the forested mountains near Chiang Mai, Mae Kampong, Thailand hums with quiet tradition where wooden homes, herbal steam, and slow village mornings endure unchanged. These places may be small, but they hold vast beauty shaped by tradition, resilience, and the harmony between people and place. Join us as we wander through the soul of Southeast Asia, one old town and village at a time. Not only is Hoi An an ancient town, but it also served as a major trading port from the 15th to 19th centuries. Although many Vietnamese cities have changed significantly, Hoi An remarkably preserves its original architecture and atmosphere. It was during the 16th century that foreign merchants, including the Japanese, Chinese, and Portuguese, began settling in Hoi An. Rarely can one find a place where the fusion of different cultures is as visible as in Hoi An's buildings. Hardly had the traders arrived before the town flourished into a vibrant commercial hub connecting Southeast Asia with the world. While some historical records remain unclear, it is known that Hoi An was a central point for silk and ceramics trade. The fact that Hoi An's old town is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site speaks volumes about its historical significance. Not until the 20th century did the town's importance decline, mainly due to changes in trade routes and warfare. Visitors who wander through Hoi An's lantern-lit streets often feel as though they have traveled back several centuries in time. No sooner had the French colonialists arrived than they introduced European styles, which subtly blended with local architecture. Despite numerous wars and natural disasters, the community has worked hard to preserve Hoi An's cultural heritage. Were it not for the dedicated restoration efforts in recent decades, much of Hoi An's charm could have been lost. Only by understanding the diverse influences that shaped Hoi An can one truly appreciate its unique historical identity. Nowhere else in Vietnam can you witness such an extraordinary mixture of Japanese, Chinese, and Vietnamese architectural styles in one place. So important is Hoi An's history that it continues to attract scholars, tourists, and artists eager to explore its rich past. Now, before we move on to the next destination, here's a fun question for you. What is the most outstanding feature of old towns in Southeast Asia? Comment your answer below. Nestled along the banks where two rivers meet, this ancient town is one of Southeast Asia's most charming and culturally rich destinations. The architecture beautifully blends traditional local styles with French colonial influences, creating a unique and picturesque atmosphere. Narrow streets wind between old houses with red-tiled roofs and whitewashed walls, inviting visitors to explore at a leisurely pace. Numerous vibrant Buddhist temples dot the landscape, with one famous temple standing out for its intricate design and spiritual significance. Every morning, monks clad in saffron robes walk quietly through the streets to collect alms, a sacred ritual that captivates many travelers. The peaceful ambiance is enhanced by the limited presence of vehicles, making it easy to soak in the town's slow rhythm and serenity. At the heart of the town lies a small hill offering panoramic views of the surrounding area, especially breathtaking at sunrise and sunset. The old town has a rich and fascinating history that dates back several centuries in this region of Southeast Asia. It once served as the royal capital, playing a vital role in the political and cultural development of the kingdom. The old town became an important hub for trade and communication between various communities. The old town's architecture reflects deep Buddhist influences, with many temples and religious sites built throughout its history. Colonial powers later arrived, influencing the design and urban planning of the old town without completely erasing its traditional identity. Despite these foreign influences, the old town managed to preserve much of its local culture, spirituality, and customs. After the royal court moved to another location, the old town gradually lost its political prominence, but remained culturally significant. If you are watching this, please click the subscribe button in the corner of the screen. It's completely free, but means a lot to us. Batad is a quiet mountain village in northern Philippines, famous for its breathtaking amphitheater-shaped rice terraces. Surrounded by steep cliffs and dense forests, the village seems hidden from the modern world. Local people still live in traditional wooden houses with thatched roofs, preserving a way of life passed down for generations. The rice terraces, carved by hand over 2,000 years ago, remain a symbol of Ifugao resilience and skill. Every planting and harvest season, the villagers work together in harmony, keeping ancient farming practices alive. Footpaths wind between the stone terraces, leading visitors through fields that shimmer in the sunlight. Many travelers describe Batad as one of the most peaceful places they've ever visited. You can't drive directly to the village. Getting there requires hiking through narrow trails and forested hills. This isolation helps protect Batad's natural beauty and cultural heritage from mass tourism. Local guides are often eager to share stories about their ancestors and the spiritual meaning of the land. Water flows gently through the terrace channels, creating a calming soundtrack that follows you through the valley. The view from the top of the terraces is nothing short of magical, especially at sunrise or sunset. In Batad, time seems to move more slowly, allowing visitors to reconnect with nature and simplicity. Community life centers around farming, storytelling, and mutual care between neighbors. Visiting Batad offers not just a scenic journey, but a deep respect for culture, tradition, and sustainable living. Pai is a traditional mountain village in northern Thailand, surrounded by green hills and peaceful nature. It is known for its slow pace of life and friendly locals. One of the village's highlights is Pai Canyon, where narrow trails and steep cliffs reveal breathtaking views of the valley. Hiking along the canyon's paths gives visitors a chance to experience both adventure and stunning scenery. Ideal for those seeking rest and mountain tranquility, Pai offers a serene escape from busy urban life. Pai has a rich history dating back several centuries as a small trading post along ancient caravan routes. Serving as a resting point for travelers journeying between Myanmar and northern Thailand, the village gradually expanded. Over time, Pai grew into a multicultural community, influenced by various ethnic groups including the Shan, Karen, and Lana people. Tucked high in the misty mountains of Chiang Mai, Mae Kampong began as a small, self-sustaining farming village. Long before roads connected it to the city, villagers lived quietly, growing tea leaves and fermenting them into miang. With its cool climate and rich soil, the area was perfect for cultivating crops like coffee, tea, and herbs. Life in Mae Kampong flowed gently, guided by tradition, family ties, and the natural rhythm of the forest. Back in the early 1900s, settlers from nearby lowland regions moved into the hills, drawn by fertile land and fresh water. At a time when electricity was unheard of here, oil lamps and firewood lit up humble wooden homes each night. For decades, the village stayed hidden, untouched by tourism, development, or outside influence. What kept the community strong was its deep sense of cooperation. Neighbors farmed, cooked, and celebrated together. Even the village temple, built long ago from local timber, became more than a religious space. It was a gathering place for all. As Thailand modernized, Mae Kampong remained a quiet outlier, holding tightly to its traditions and mountain identity. It wasn't until the 1990s that electricity and paved roads finally reached the village, bringing both change and challenge. Rather than resist tourism, the locals welcomed visitors through homestays, sharing food, stories, and forest walks. With careful planning and community effort, Mae Kampong became a model for sustainable tourism across Thailand. Wooden houses more than half a century old still line the narrow streets, whispering stories of the past. Though modern life has arrived in small ways, the soul of Mae Kampong remains rooted in harmony with nature and heritage. The village has a long history dating back many centuries as a small agricultural settlement in the highlands. Its people were primarily farmers who relied on growing vegetables and raising livestock suited to the cool climate. During World War II, the area became strategically important due to its location near key mountain passes and routes. Many locals were directly affected by the conflict, including forced labor and displacement during wartime occupations. The village witnessed tragic events associated with the infamous death marches that caused great suffering among soldiers and civilians alike. After the war, the community worked hard to rebuild homes and restore agricultural production amid difficult conditions. A war memorial was later established to honor the soldiers who lost their lives and recognize local contributions during the conflict. The village maintained traditional farming practices, even as modernization slowly reached the region in the following decades. Historical records indicate that the village was once isolated, but gradually became connected to nearby towns through road development. Many generations of families lived in this village, preserving cultural heritage and oral histories about the land. The village also served as a refuge for those fleeing violence during turbulent periods in the region's history. Infrastructure improvements over time brought electricity in schools, transforming daily life while keeping historical roots intact. Archaeological studies in the area have uncovered artifacts that shed light on early settlement patterns and trade routes. The villagers' resilience and adaptation during times of hardship are well documented in local archives and testimonies. Historical landmarks such as old farmhouses and religious sites still stand as evidence of the village's past. Is visiting the cool highlands of Kundasang in Malaysia on your bucket list? Comment 2 if you've been, 4 if it's now on your list. Have you ever wondered how Nong Khiaw village has preserved its history through centuries of change and challenge? For hundreds of years, local ethnic groups have lived in harmony with nature, relying on the Nam U River for survival. The village remained isolated from major political events during the French colonial era, preserving many traditional customs. However, the region experienced significant hardships when bombing campaigns affected northern Laos in the 20th century. Villagers sought refuge in nearby caves to protect themselves from destruction caused by the secret war conflicts. After the war, community members worked tirelessly to rebuild homes, restore farmland, and revive their spiritual practices. Oral histories passed down through generations recount stories of resilience, loss, and hope amidst difficult times. The village's rich history is reflected in its cultural traditions and peaceful way of life along the riverbanks. Community elders play a crucial role in teaching younger generations about ancestral rituals and historical events that shape their identity. Traditional crafts and ceremonies continue to be practiced, helping to maintain a strong sense of unity and cultural pride. Visitors who explore the village often gain a deeper understanding of how history, nature, and culture intertwine in everyday life here. Tegallalang is celebrated for its dramatic rice terraces, where layers of vibrant green fields form graceful curves across the hillsides. Carefully sculpted by generations of Balinese farmers, these terraces reflect centuries of agricultural knowledge and spiritual practice. The ancient Subak irrigation system still governs water flow here, emphasizing community cooperation and balance with nature. Every step through the terraces reveals a connection between labor and landscape, shaped not only by need, but by belief. Visitors walk narrow dirt paths between paddies, observing local farmers planting, harvesting, or tending to irrigation channels. The visual harmony of stepped fields and coconut palms has made Tegallalang a major destination for those seeking Bali's natural beauty. As tourism grew, local residents adapted by building cafes, souvenir shops, and bamboo viewing platforms along the edge of the valley. While tourism brings financial benefits, it also requires careful planning to protect both the ecosystem and cultural identity of the area. Some farmers now divide their time between agriculture and guiding guests who want to learn about traditional rice growing methods. Even with changing roles, the terraces remain central to village life, providing both food and a sense of shared heritage. Seasonal planting rituals continue to be practiced, marked by offerings placed at fieldside shrines to honor Dewi Shri, the rice goddess. Many visitors are struck by the silence between rows, where only the sound of water channels and soft footsteps fills the air. Balinese architecture and rural tradition blend seamlessly into the surrounding hills, reinforcing a sense of timelessness. Though social media has brought global attention, the heart of Tegallalang lies in its enduring relationship with land and cycle. We gather info from many sources. If you spot errors or want to add more, please comment. We'd love your input. North of Inle Lake lies Nyaungshwe, the main access point for visitors exploring nearby highland villages and lake communities. Once the capital of a Shan principality, the town still holds traces of royalty and palace ruins and monastic structures. With a balance between tradition and tourism, the area offers teakwood monasteries, floating canals, and colorful local markets. Used daily by locals and travelers alike, long-tail boats navigate the canals and reach deeper parts of scenic Inle Lake. Crossing the narrow waterways of Nyaungshwe, small wooden bridges provide passage for bicycles, pedestrians, and occasional motorbikes. Located in a fertile river plain, Bago has historically served as a strategic hub for trade and cultural exchange in Myanmar. Once the capital of powerful Mundai and Burmese kingdoms, the old town still preserves royal ruins and ancient religious landmarks. Flatlands and rivers in the surrounding area have supported agriculture and human settlement for many centuries without interruption. Because of its political importance, Bago experienced cycles of both conflict and prosperity throughout its long, complex history. Temples, palace remnants, and centuries-old pagodas reflect cultural layers left by successive dynasties and diverse ethnic influences. Nestled in the central plains of Myanmar, the old town of Bagan emerged between the 9th and 13th centuries as a thriving center of culture, politics, and Theravada Buddhism. Once the heart of the pagan kingdom, the first to unify the regions that would later form modern Myanmar, Bagan's village core grew alongside royal ambition. Its transformation began with King Anarata, who embraced Theravada Buddhism and launched an era of monumental temple construction that reshaped both religion and landscape. Supported by monks and scholars, Honorata forged a close alliance between the royal court and the Sangha, weaving religious authority into village and state life. At its height, over 10,000 stupas, temples, and monasteries dotted the plains, rising from the fields and simple homes of the community. These structures blended Indian, Mundai, and Pyu influences, positioning the sacred town as a crossroads of regional architecture and spiritual exchange. Bagan flourished not only as a royal and spiritual capital, but also as a place where monks, pilgrims, and local villagers coexisted in everyday rhythms. By the late 13th century, internal strife and Mongol invasions weakened the empire, leading to the fall of central authority in 1287. Though power faded, the village endured, and Bagan remained a pilgrimage site for centuries, its spiritual legacy outlasting its political might. Many temples crumbled over time due to earthquakes, while others were lovingly restored by local villagers and devout patrons. The surviving pagodas and quiet village paths reflect not only imperial grandeur, but also the quiet strength of a community rooted in devotion. Have you ever imagined how life along the Mekong River shaped the unique culture of Phan Don? This area, known as the 4,000 Islands, consists of numerous small traditional villages scattered across the river's many islands. For centuries, local communities have lived in harmony with the river, relying on fishing, farming, and river trade for their livelihood. These villages developed distinct ways of life, shaped by the rhythms of the Mekong's seasonal floods and fertile lands. Traditional wooden houses built on stilts can be seen lining the riverbanks, designed to withstand changing water levels. The islands became a refuge for ethnic groups, preserving their customs, language, and ancestral rituals. Over time, Phan Don grew into a network of connected villages, each with its own unique identity but united by shared dependence on the river. The river also served as a vital transportation route, linking these villages to larger towns and neighboring countries. Historical records indicate that Phan Don was once part of important trade routes in Southeast Asia. Local temples and pagodas on the islands reflect centuries of spiritual life and community gatherings. Despite external influences and modern development pressures, many villages have managed to maintain their traditional ways. The quiet pace of life in Phan Don's villages offers a glimpse into a past where nature and culture thrive together. In recent decades, tourism has introduced new challenges and opportunities for the local people. However, efforts to preserve cultural heritage and natural beauty remain strong among village leaders and residents. Phan Don stands as a living example of traditional riverine village life shaped by history and the mighty Mekong River. Hidden among towering limestone karsts and winding rivers, Vieng's history unfolds as a story of small villages embracing nature's rhythm. For generations, local communities lived simply, relying on farming, fishing, and river trade along the Nam Song River. The dramatic karst landscape shaped settlement patterns, encouraging houses to cluster in sheltered spots amid lush greenery. Traditional wooden homes with thatched roofs blended seamlessly into the environment, reflecting a humble and sustainable lifestyle. Sacred temples served as vital centers for worship and community gatherings, preserving cultural and spiritual traditions. Slowly, scattered villages grew and connected, forming the foundation of the town known today. Despite gradual growth, Vieng retained its peaceful, village-like atmosphere surrounded by natural beauty. Trade routes passing nearby allowed villagers to exchange goods and ideas with other parts of Laos and neighboring countries. The river itself was essential for transport and irrigation, supporting agricultural livelihoods for centuries. Modern roads and infrastructure introduced new opportunities, while local people worked to maintain their traditions. Markets and festivals still highlight the strong bond between the community and their environment. Visitors can witness how nature and culture coexist in harmony throughout this scenic region. Vieng's history tells a tale of resilience, where small traditional villages adapted without losing their unique character. This blend of old and new creates a living heritage nestled within stunning karst landscapes. Vieng remains a testament to the enduring connection between its people and the natural world surrounding them. While modern cities rise with glass skyscrapers and sprawling highways, this old town stands still in time, its cobbled streets echoing with the soft clip-clop of horse-drawn carriages. Located in Ilocos Sur, the historic town of Vigan offers a striking contrast to contemporary urban centers, with its Spanish colonial buildings remarkably well preserved. Terracotta tiled roofs, weathered by generations of sun and storm, still crown the two-story ancestral houses that line the narrow streets. Upper floors feature sliding windows made of capice shells, allowing gentle breezes and diffused light into these traditional homes. Calle Crisologo, a pedestrian street free from modern vehicles, remains calm and atmospheric, where horse-drawn kalesa guide visitors through the heart of the old town. Vigan's architecture reflects a rare blend of Asian and European influences, evident in its enduring brick and wood structures. Ornate balconies and carved ventanillas stretch above the cobbled sidewalks, casting soft shadows that shift as the day passes. Inside many of these heritage homes, artisans still practice time-honored crafts, keeping local traditions alive through daily work. The bell of Vigan Cathedral continues to ring over the central plaza, echoing the town's deep spiritual and cultural roots. Nearby markets offer Ilocano specialties, from spiced vegan longanisa sausages to hand-woven textiles that carry generations of meaning. Festivals bring the streets to life, filling this old town with color, music, and parades that honor both tradition and community pride. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Vigan is more than a preserved landmark. It is a living old town where the past continues to shape everyday life. Intramuros, Manila's old town, was established by the Spanish in 1571 as the political, military, and religious center of colonial rule in the Philippines. Surrounded by thick stone walls and moats, the town was carefully planned to reflect Spanish urban design with a grid layout, plazas, and fortified gates. Within its walls stood grand churches, administrative buildings, schools, and stone houses that served as homes for Spanish officials and clergy. The old town was dominated by the Catholic Church, with San Agustin Church becoming a spiritual and architectural landmark that still stands today. For over 300 years, Intramuros symbolized Spanish power and influence in the archipelago, shaping the country's early history. In 1945, much of the old town was devastated during the Battle of Manila, leaving many historic structures in ruins. Post-war reconstruction efforts gradually restored parts of Intramuros, aiming to preserve its cultural and architectural heritage. Tucked high in the Cordillera Mountains of northern Philippines, Sagada is a remote village known for its cool climate and misty pine forests. For generations, the local Kankanai people have lived in harmony with the steep mountain terrain, cultivating rice terraces and root crops on sloped land. Traditional wooden houses with steep roofs are scattered across hillsides, blending naturally into the rugged landscape. The village has long preserved its ancestral customs, including unique burial practices like the hanging coffins placed on limestone cliffs. Mountain trails connect Sagada to smaller hamlets, forming a tight-knit network of highland communities shaped by shared traditions and isolation. Despite growing tourism, Sagada retains a peaceful, slow-paced rhythm of life, rooted in indigenous culture. Local weavers, farmers, and artisans continue to pass down skills and knowledge through generations. Sagada remains not only a mountain village of striking beauty, but also a living symbol of resilience and cultural pride. Scattered across the southern tip of Palawan, the small villages of Balabac exist quietly among dense forests and turquoise coastal waters. For centuries, these settlements have been inhabited by the Mulbog people, believed to have migrated from the Malay region long before Spanish colonization. Their early communities formed along the coastlines and river mouths, where access to water routes supported inter-island contact and trade. Oral histories recount ancestral journeys across the Sulu Sea, linking Balabac to broader networks of indigenous seafarers and traders. Unlike other regions of Palawan, Balabac remained largely outside direct Spanish control due to its remoteness and strong local resistance. In recent years, historical interest in Balabac has grown, recognizing its role as a cultural buffer zone and maritime crossroads. The traditions, dialects, and stories still told by elders serve as living archives of the island's long and complex history. All around the village lies lush greenery, with dense forests and fertile farmland nurturing crops and native plants. Thanks to this abundant vegetation, both local farming practices and the peaceful rural atmosphere continue to thrive. Rain Taung Ji offers a glimpse into traditional village life. Kep is a traditional fishing village on Cambodia's southern coast, where local fishermen bring in fresh seafood daily. Small family-run restaurants line the shore, serving simple but delicious seafood dishes with views of the calm sea. Kep's quiet beaches and relaxed pace of life reflect its history as a peaceful fishing community, rather than a busy tourist hub. Palm trees sway along the sandy coastline, framing the village's humble boats and wooden piers used by fishermen. Visitors often enjoy walking along the beach at sunset, watching fishing boats return with their catch. The village's peaceful atmosphere offers a perfect escape from crowded cities and busy tourist spots. A short boat ride from Kep takes travelers to Rabbit Island, a tranquil spot known for its clear waters and laid-back atmosphere. This rustic island retreat complements Kep's charm as a traditional coastal village where life moves slowly and simply. A peaceful riverside village atmosphere fills the air, with colonial-era buildings adding to its charm. Fishing, farming, and the cultivation of famous Kampot pepper shape daily life for many locals. Narrow streets reveal old wooden houses and bustling markets where villagers meet and trade. Surrounded by lush greenery and cooled by gentle river breezes, the setting feels calm and timeless. Once a neglected riverside settlement in Malang, this village struggled with poverty, poor infrastructure, and polluted surroundings. Established without formal planning, the neighborhood expanded as families built modest homes near the riverbanks. The lack of sanitation and regular waste management led to worsening living conditions through the decades. Residents held on to traditional Javanese customs, fostering a sense of local identity and shared responsibility. Government support was minimal, and the village remained largely invisible to the broader public for a long time. In 2016, a community art initiative by university students began changing the village's appearance and public perception. Support from the military and paint companies allowed for bold colors to be applied across rooftops and walls. Bright designs quickly replaced the worn-out facades, transforming the neighborhood into a striking visual landmark. Visitors began arriving, curious about the newly colorful houses and the community behind them. Street art and murals followed, often reflecting cultural stories and symbols meaningful to the local people. The residents became active participants in shaping their surroundings, forming groups to maintain and manage the space. color brought pride, but beneath it lies a long story of economic hardship and community resilience. The transformation revealed how creative projects can renew not only physical spaces but also local spirit. Long-standing social bonds became stronger through the shared work of renewal and storytelling. This village, once forgotten, now stands as a symbol of how imagination and cooperation can reshape historical identity. Frequent floods from the nearby river have shaped the way Tualango's houses and pathways were built for generations. Raised wooden homes and stone walkways reflect the community's long adaptation to seasonal water surges. Historical accounts passed down orally tell of major floods that once displaced families and reshaped village boundaries. Protective rituals and local legends surrounding water spirits reveal how deeply the villagers connect natural forces with cultural identity. In response to changing climate patterns, elders and youth have worked together to preserve knowledge on managing floods through communal effort. Lying on the slopes of Mount Summing and Sindoro, at approximately 1,200 meters altitude, Kruwisan village has been inhabited for generations, with its origins as a small agrarian community in Kledung district. Early settlers cleared terraced fields for tobacco cultivation, a practice that has sustained local livelihoods for decades and positioned Kruwisan as a regional agricultural hub. Under Dutch and later Indonesian governance, the village gradually organized into formal administrative units. From subsistence beginnings, the village has evolved into an organized rural community, blending traditional agrarian roots with modern education and agricultural innovation. Situated on the slopes of Mount Summing in central Java, the settlement known as Dusun Butu was originally a humble agricultural hamlet. The nickname Nepal Van Java emerged from the striking resemblance between its terraced, colorful houses and the mountainous villages of Nepal. Local oral history attributes the nickname's popularity to tourists who, amazed by the stacked hillside homes, shared photos online that likened them to the Himalayas. Before this transformation, Dusun Butu remained largely unknown, inhabited by farming families, and serving as a modest gateway for climbers ascending Mount Summing. A pivotal moment occurred in 2016 when students from Semarang State University initiated a village-wide painting project to brighten the community. Those first coats of paint sparked local interest and set in motion plans to visually renovate the hillside dwellings. Subsequent support from paint companies and local government expanded the program, resulting in hundreds of homes adorned in vivid tones. As the colors spread, the hillside village became a vibrant reflection of its agricultural roots and resilience. The transformation went beyond aesthetics. It transformed perception, turning an overlooked farming hamlet into a tourist destination. Community members embraced the opportunity, establishing small enterprises and welcoming visitors to their revitalized village. Culturally, Dusun Butu remains deeply rooted in local traditions, with agriculture still at the core of everyday life. The village layout, on a steep mountainside, continues to resemble traditional Himalayan settlements with its stacked, terraced structure. Oral narratives among elders recount their gradual shift from isolation to recognition, framing the village as a story of transformation. Over the past decade, the place has transitioned from a humble hamlet to a recognized cultural landmark, symbolizing creative empowerment. Dusun Butu's evolution highlights how a simple academic and community art initiative revived not just facades, but also village pride and historical identity. Tucked in the highlands of Bangli Regency, Pengli Puran village traces its roots back to the 13th century during the reign of the Bangli Kingdom. The villagers are believed to have descended from the royal guard or followers, who were relocated from Bayung Gede to serve the king. Over generations, they established a settlement grounded in Bali's ancient Adat law, which governs customs, land use, and religious rituals. The spatial layout of Penglipuran was designed following Tri Mandala, a Balinese philosophy dividing space into spiritual, social, and natural zones. Traditional homes were constructed in a uniform manner, using bamboo and natural materials, emphasizing harmony over individual expression. Each compound follows identical measurements and orientation, symbolizing equality among all families within the community. Unlike many Balinese villages, Penglipuran has strictly preserved its ancestral rules, including a ban on motorized vehicles within the main residential area. The village remained relatively untouched by colonial and modern expansion. partly due to its location and strong communal governance. During the Dutch era, local leaders maintained cultural independence by cooperating minimally while safeguarding traditional institutions. Oral histories and temple ceremonies continue to record the founding myths and sacred obligations passed down for centuries. Religious life centers around three main temples, each associated with cosmic forces, ancestors, and local deities. Villagers have long practiced sustainable living, relying on bamboo forests and terraced agriculture, handed down through generations. The local community carefully guards its intangible heritage, from dress codes to ritual calendars, as a source of identity and continuity. Recognition as one of Indonesia's cleanest and most traditional villages has strengthened efforts to protect both its physical and spiritual heritage. Penglipuran stands today not as a tourist fabrication, but as a living example of Balinese values preserved through time and communal will. For generations, Sembalun village has maintained a rich cultural heritage deeply connected to traditional agriculture and community life. The Sasak people, indigenous to Lombok, skillfully cultivate terraced rice fields on volcanic hillsides. Spiritual life blends Islamic beliefs with ancient local customs, creating unique rituals that endure through centuries. Volcanic eruptions have challenged the community repeatedly, yet resilience and adaptation have allowed it to survive. In earlier times, traders and pilgrims relied on Sembalun as a vital rest stop along their journeys. Village elders hold great respect and continue guiding social order and the preservation of customs. Traditional crafts such as weaving and pottery remain central to the Sasak artistic identity, passed down through families. Isolation during colonial times helped preserve the village's social fabric and cultural traditions. Seasonal festivals burst with music and ceremonies that celebrate nature's rhythms and honor ancestral spirits. As trekking tourism near Mount Rinjani grows, new opportunities and challenges arise for the community. balancing modern development with tradition remains a constant focus for local leaders. Daily life revolves around communal gatherings, shared meals, and religious ceremonies. The natural surroundings, including mountains and fertile land, shape the villagers' way of life. Strong bonds among residents ensure cultural continuity and collective resilience. Sembilan stands today as a testament to harmonious coexistence between people, nature, and heritage. Generations of farmers in Wanalelo have passed down agricultural wisdom rooted in both tradition and deep respect for nature. Local stories describe ancestors who settled the area after following water sources and fertile volcanic soil. Traditional wooden houses, with carved details and sloped roofs, still stand as quiet witnesses to time and community heritage. Volcanic eruptions in past centuries have shaped not only the land, but also the village's spirit of collective resilience. Customs, rituals, and communal labor remain central to daily life, preserving the rhythm of a village bound to its past. Centuries-old traditions still guide daily life in Grabag, where local communities have long relied on farming, crafts, and spiritual rituals. Ancient Javanese beliefs once shaped the layout of villages and rice fields, blending with later Islamic influences over time. Legends passed down through generations speak of rulers, healers, and guardians who once protected the area from natural threats. Traditional markets and neighborhood gatherings have served as both economic and cultural centers, helping preserve a strong sense of identity. Through earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and political shifts, the people of Grabag have maintained their connection to the land and ancestral heritage. Generations of villagers in Sembilan have lived in close relationship with the rhythms of Mount Merapi, adapting to its power and gifts. Ancestral knowledge about farming, soil, and seasonal change has shaped how the community manages risk and harvests from the volcanic land. Spiritual beliefs centered around the mountain play an important role in local rituals, where nature is seen as both sacred and alive. Stories of past eruptions are passed down as lessons, reminding younger generations of the balance between reverence and resilience. Homes are often built with locally sourced materials, reflecting both environmental awareness and cultural continuity. In the past, Stabilan was part of traditional trade routes connecting upland villages with lowland markets through footpaths and forest trails. During colonial times, the village remained relatively self-sufficient, preserving language, customs, and communal decision-making structures. Even today, the people of Stabilan continue to honor their past while carefully adapting to changes brought by technology and tourism. Seasonal ceremonies tied to the mountain are still performed, reaffirming the villagers' spiritual connection to the landscape. With each generation, cultural memory is renewed not through monuments, but through daily life, labor, and collective storytelling. Passed down through generations, Bina village has stood for centuries as one of the oldest and best preserved traditional settlements in Flores. Believed to have been established over 1,000 years ago, the village reflects the ancestral beliefs of the Ngada people rooted in megalithic traditions. Massive stone altars and totems in the village center serve as sacred sites for offerings to ancestors and natural spirits. Traditional peaked roof houses, aligned according to clan groups, symbolize the strong kinship and cosmological order of Ngada society. Despite the influence of modern religion and infrastructure, Bina continues to uphold its ancient rituals and identity with pride and reverence. The history of Lovina village is rooted in a series of coastal hamlets that emerged along Bali's northern shore generations ago. Early inhabitants relied heavily on fishing and salt-making, developing livelihoods shaped by the calm waters of the Bali Sea. Carved wooden boats and hand-dug salt pans became symbols of local craftsmanship and adaptation to the maritime environment. During colonial times, this northern region remained quieter than the south, allowing traditional life in Lovina to continue relatively undisturbed. The people built homes using local materials: bamboo, thatch, and volcanic stone, following architectural customs passed down through families. Spiritual life revolved around ancestral worship and the daily offerings made at small shrines located in home courtyards. In the mid-20th century, Anak Agong Panji Tisna, a Balinese prince and writer, envisioned Lovina as a place of peace and cultural integrity. He introduced the name Lovina and built a modest retreat by the sea, setting a precedent for development rooted in local values. His vision encouraged the preservation of village life while cautiously opening the door to outside awareness. Even with gradual economic shifts, many villagers continued to fish at dawn and farm inland fields during the dry season. Family compounds remained multi-generational, where elders taught younger members how to maintain household altars and grow subsistence crops. The village's relationship with the land and sea fostered a rhythm of life that moved slowly and respectfully. Footpaths once used for ox carts still wind through groves of coconut and frangipani trees, connecting clusters of traditional houses. Changes came incrementally, with electricity and paved roads arriving later than in other parts of Bali. Yet, through it all, Lovina has retained the essence of a coastal village shaped by nature, memory, and ancestral ties. Situated near the slopes of Mount Merapi, this village has a long history centered on traditional agriculture and close-knit community life. Ancient farming techniques have been carefully preserved and handed down through many generations here. Even as modernization slowly reached the area, its cultural identity remained strong despite facing natural challenges. For centuries, the rice terraces of Jatilui have stretched across the gentle slopes of Bali's highlands, forming a living landscape shaped by tradition. Each layer was carved by hand, following the contours of the land to capture rainfall and channel it through an intricate irrigation network. The Subak system, a communal water management practice rooted in Balinese Hindu philosophy, governs how water is shared among all farmers. Rice cultivation here is not merely agricultural, it is spiritual, aligning human labor with the cycles of nature and divine order. Shrines stand at the corners of many fields, where offerings are placed to honor Dewi Shri, the rice goddess. Farmers still begin planting with ceremonies, believing that respect for the land brings both abundance and harmony. Generations have passed down knowledge of when to plant, how to rotate crops, and how to preserve soil fertility without machinery. The green terraces, maintained by hand tools and community effort, reflect centuries of environmental understanding. Unlike industrial farming, these rice fields are small, diverse, and shaped by the rhythms of rainfall, sunlight, and moon phases. The entire landscape is a cultural artifact-tone that evolves slowly but remains anchored in the past. Tucked into the highlands of central Java, this village has long been shaped by its mountainous terrain and natural springs. Generations of residents built their lives around the water sources, which were believed to hold spiritual significance and healing power. Stone pools were created to collect spring water, serving both practical needs and ceremonial functions. Surrounding hills provided fertile land for farming, while the cooler climate influenced traditional architecture and food practices. Ancestral stories speak of early settlers who followed water veins up the slopes and stayed where the earth remained cool and clean. Community cooperation was essential for maintaining irrigation systems and building terraced gardens along steep inclines. Local knowledge about weather patterns, soil health, and planting cycles was passed down orally through elders and daily routines. Islamic traditions blended with older Javanese customs, shaping the village's rhythm of prayer, planting, and communal meals. The presence of natural springs continues to define identity and pride among the villagers, linking them to both land and lineage. Even with changes brought by modern infrastructure, the people maintain a deep respect for their environment and ancestral past. High in the remote mountains of Flores Island, a traditional village stands quietly, preserving centuries of Manggarai heritage. Thatched, cone-shaped huts, known as Embaru Nyang, form a circle on a grassy plateau, each one representing a family lineage. These unique houses are built entirely from natural materials: bamboo, wood, and palm fiber, oozing knowledge passed through generations. Oral history suggests that the village was founded over 100 years ago by an ancestor named Empu Maro, who settled here after a long migration. For many decades, Wae Rebo remained largely isolated from the outside world, accessible only by a long uphill trek through dense forest. This isolation helped preserve its architectural traditions and social structure, which are deeply rooted in ancestral customs. Each house has 5 levels, with the ground floor for living and upper levels for storage, sacred objects, and ancestral spirits. Communal life is central. Villagers gather in the main hut for meetings, rituals, and decisions affecting the whole community. Respect for nature and ancestors forms the foundation of village life, guiding farming practices and seasonal cycles. The surrounding landscape is considered sacred, and forests are protected under customary law. Elders teach younger generations about clan duties, house-building rituals, and the meanings of traditional symbols. Rainwater is collected for daily use, and farming remains organic and small-scale, focused on coffee and tubers. Modernity has reached Wae Rebo slowly, and villagers are cautious about change that might disrupt their way of life. Recognition as a UNESCO Cultural Heritage Site has brought pride but also responsibility to protect their identity. Even as visitors arrive, the heart of Wae Rebo remains unchanged, a mountain village where time moves in rhythm with tradition and land. Often called the Venice of the East, this water village has been home to generations of Bruneian families for over 1,000 years. Wooden houses on stilts stretch across the Brunei River, connected by a maze of footbridges and narrow walkways. Historically, it served as a political and cultural hub long before the rise of Bandar Seri Begawan on the opposite bank. Many residents have preserved traditional ways of life, including boat making, fishing, and community ceremonies held in floating halls. Islamic influence is reflected in the village's mosques and schools, built securely above water and accessible by boat. Though modern infrastructure like electricity and internet has reached the village, Kampong Ayer continues to embody Brunei's living heritage. Nestled high in the northern mountains, Dong Van captivates visitors with its stunning limestone formations and peaceful rural life. Every morning, farmers rise before dawn to tend their terraced rice fields and care for their water buffalo. Among the many ethnic groups living here, the Hmong community preserves ancient customs and traditional clothing that brighten the village markets. Along winding mountain paths, small wooden houses with stone foundations stand proudly against the backdrop of green hills. In the heart of the harvest season, the fields transform into golden waves that spread as far as the eye can wander. Life here moves at its own gentle pace, far removed from the noise and rush of modern cities. From distant peaks, you can hear the laughter of children playing in open fields surrounded by wildflowers and tall grasses. Throughout the year, tea plants, corn, and buckwheat grow on the terraced slopes, providing food and income for local families. Under the vast sky, Dong Van's villagers live in harmony with nature, embracing simplicity and warmth. As villagers gather around fires to share stories, the timeless rhythm of rural life continues peacefully in Dong Van. The rich culture and stunning landscapes combine to make this remote area a hidden gem of Vietnam's countryside. Travelers who seek calm and natural beauty find solace in its quiet valleys and friendly communities. Ancient traditions are carefully passed from elders to children, ensuring the village's unique identity remains strong. Ha Giang Village, located in the northern mountainous region of Vietnam, has a rich and ancient history that dates back hundreds of years. Originally, the area was inhabited by various ethnic minority groups, including the Hmong, Tay, and Dao people. These communities developed unique cultures and traditions shaped by the rugged landscape around them. Over centuries, Ha Giang became an important trading point between Vietnam and neighboring China due to its strategic location near the border. The village's history is closely linked with the building of defensive walls and watchtowers to protect against invasions. During the French colonial period, Ha Giang was part of the frontier zone where many battles took place. Local villagers showed great resilience and bravery in resisting foreign control. After Vietnam's independence, Ha Giang gradually developed infrastructure while preserving its cultural heritage. Ancient houses made of stone and wood still stand as reminders of the village's long past. Farming and agriculture have remained the backbone of life here for centuries. Nestled among lush forests and rolling hills, this small rural community thrives peacefully in northern Thailand. Farming rice and vegetables provides most families with a steady income and a way of life deeply connected to the land. Built on stilts, traditional wooden houses reveal the rich cultural heritage and adapt to seasonal weather changes. Vibrant festivals bring the community together each year through lively music, colorful costumes, and joyful dances passed down for generations. Children spend their days playing freely in open fields, developing strong bonds with nature and one another. Warm hospitality welcomes visitors eager to experience authentic village traditions and simple daily rhythms. A slower pace of life encourages appreciation for the surrounding natural beauty and peaceful environment. Maintaining harmony with the land, locals carefully balance preserving traditions while gently embracing modern influences. Founded in the 1940s by Chinese Kuomintang soldiers fleeing the Civil War, Ban Rak Thai has a unique history. The original settlers brought with them their rich cultural traditions and agricultural knowledge from Yunnan province in China. Tea planting became the village's main source of income due to its ideal cool climate and fertile soil. The village's architecture reflects a blend of traditional Chinese styles and adaptations to the mountainous environment. Ban Rak Thai was originally called Mae Aw, before it was renamed to show loyalty and respect to Thailand. Located near the border with Myanmar, the village overcame isolation by gradually establishing infrastructure, linking it to neighboring areas. Annual festivals celebrate both Chinese and Thai cultural heritage, attracting visitors who want to experience this unique blend. Ban Rak Thai stands as a symbol of resilience, cultural fusion, and peaceful rural life in northern Thailand. The villagers worked hard to preserve their Chinese language and customs, while also learning the Thai language fluently. Over the decades, tea farming techniques were refined and passed down through many generations of families living in the village. Community leaders organized cultural events to promote unity and share the village's rich heritage with visitors from around the world. Modern tourism has helped improve the local economy, allowing residents to maintain traditional lifestyles while benefiting from new opportunities. Exploring old towns and villages in Southeast Asia offers travelers a chance to experience rich history and timeless culture. These destinations reveal unique traditions, ancient architecture, and local lifestyles that have been preserved for generations. Walking through narrow streets, visitors can feel the stories whispered by historic buildings and vibrant marketplaces. The warm hospitality of local people makes every journey deeply memorable and welcoming. Sampling traditional foods and participating in cultural festivals connect travelers to the heart of each community. Many villages remain untouched by modern development, providing peaceful escapes from bustling cities and tourist crowds. Respecting local customs and supporting sustainable tourism helps preserve these treasured places for future generations. Ultimately, visiting Southeast Asia's old towns and villages enriches understanding and appreciation of the region's diverse heritage.